Hello, everyone. I am Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and joined today by the ghost of Toys R Us past, Rob, the ghost with the host.
Still standing in line for my Nintendo game. It's behind that cage. I brought that little ticket up, and I've been waiting for 30 years.
Yeah, and then our buddy Chris from Australia is back, all the way in Australia. How you doing, dude?
Good, mate. Good. Very late here or early, but yeah, it's good.
And we got Max with us today, but she's dealing with a little bit of audio issues, so she's trying to like plug stuff in and turning dials and stuff, and trying to get all of that jazz going. But yeah, today we have a pretty fun story to talk about, and it's about Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right, I think I see Max. Can we hear? Do I hear you, Max?
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, we can hear you. You sound in stereo. How you doing?
Stereo. I'm good. I have a surprise.
You have a surprise? Oh shit! Are those some Grogus?
Yes, they are.
Damn! Look at that movie star. You're a movie star.
I know.
Are you? What are you, Grogu's agent now? Where'd you get those fans? Those are awesome. Those are Who makes those? Who makes those again? Do you have it in front of you? If you don't, okay.
I do.
But
I do.
Yeah. I've always been a fan of those. Like when I was a kid, Kurt Cobain used to wear the what's that?
Diff.
Oh, Diff. Nice.
Diff.
Yeah, those are to me. Those will always be Kurt Cobain glasses, because in that in utero era he wore those 1960s style glasses, and I but they look good.
These are really good. Thank you, and thank you. These are really good because I actually really can't see the screen. That's how good.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, today we are knowing our worth a little bit, and we are having members chat today. So if you're a member, I'm going to see your chat. I was overlooking too many member chats. Plus, a couple people want to harass and do that kind of jazz. Pay me to harass me. That's our take. And so anyways, we just Star Wars Satan, Hell Satan.
That's how I made episodes 2 and 3 words.
But and honestly and sincerely, I do appreciate the support, and for everyone who supports the channel and the truth, and that's what I always try to give with my spoilers is the truth. So you guys want to hear about the spoiler of the day? I don't know. Have you got to read this yet, Rob? Or is this the first time you'll be hearing of this?
If it's what I think it is, I heard Star Wars Meg put the clip of you talking on Star Wars saying it. So I heard a friend of a friend of a friend.
Different one.
Of a friend. There's one hater. And I'm not saying who it is, but...
No, different story.
Oh, okay. Then
different
I haven't
story.
heard anything. I've been sitting here waiting to see if we're gonna do a show today. So
yeah. I was keep Rob in the dark until the very last minute. Like me and Max are texting. Max is asking me about what my fall colors are going to be this year, and I'm telling her. She's telling me, and Rob is just there going like, "Hey, there's a guy in Australia that's like, dude, so we're talking about it today, right? Today's the day." I'm like, yeah, Australian Chris, of course. And he's like, I'm going to be there because I've been waiting for this one for a long time, like since the summer. And I'm like, I know, Chris. And then, but Rob has no idea.
Do I drop a deuce or do I go on the show? We're doing a show. I don't know what to do. There's no McCollum. Can't. I don't have a schedule. I'll get a coffee.
Keep your enemies close and your enemies closer. What?
Jason.
Yeah.
I have a quick something to say. Today's Johnny's birthday. So happy birthday, Johnny.
Johnny! Happy birthday, Johnny!
Can you drink yet? Is this the year?
Yes, this is the year.
Okay.
Oh, Johnny!
Congratulations!
I think Johnny's just got beyond the 27 club. So happy birthday, Johnny! You can't be a legend now. You gotta live and make art until you're old, or you suck. That's how I look at it. All right. But anyways, happy birthday, Johnny! And thank you for reminding me. He told me like when we were hanging out, like, oh, it's my birthday next week. And I'm like, next week with this rock and roll lifestyle, I don't even know if I'll be alive. Okay, that's in the future. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, well, happy early birthday. And but here we are now, and it's Johnny's birthday, and happy birthday, Johnny. We love you, you little rascal. All right. So yeah, so today's scoop is for Johnny. All right. I don't even know if he cares about this, but today's for Johnny. So
he's like, I don't even think this should be made. But thanks.
he's all Book of Boba Fett was a farce and Star Wars is now a lie. I'm like, whoa, Johnny, come on.
2005, man. Johnny missed out on the real fun.
Right? Yeah, Johnny.
He's getting there.
All right. So this is Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is spoilers. Luke Skywalker's role is revealed. And oh, by the way, when I was making this featured image, I accidentally wrote ROLL at first. So it was like a sushi roll for a second, but I got it. All right. So the hard life of Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you have been following my investigations for the last few weeks, you are probably starting to understand what the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi series is about and what it feels like. This is a series about a man who lost so much and now lives in the aftermath of that loss. All of his human connections have been destroyed. Even though Kenobi took the oath of a Jedi and let go of all attachments, the very human part of him is still suffering. What seemingly gets Kenobi through these hot Tatooine days and the hard work on the Dune Sea is his secret mission to guard the son of the Chosen One. Kenobi is continually having, I wrote Fastbacks, which is a great band. You should check out the Fastbacks, but it should be flashbacks. I'll fix that. Flashbacks to his time with Anakin Skywalker, the boy's father. His failure haunts him. But he knows his mission to protect Luke Skywalker is their only chance at bringing balance to the Force. He is suffering, but he knows his suffering will liberate the galaxy if the Jedi plan works, if he can do his part. So Luke Skywalker is a tricky character to use in this series. His secret sister, Leia, is less tricky. While we see her on Alderaan with her fancy parents and a young senatorial program, she can know a lot about the galaxy. The only thing she cannot know is Obi-Wan Kenobi personally. And when she meets him, he's disguised. And I talked about that last week, so make sure you check out that story if you didn't. So, okay, so on to the farm boy, just to get that out of the way. In one sequence, Owen, Beru, and young Luke Skywalker are away from their moisture farm. The set was very much like Mos Eisley in spirit. They filmed little Luke holding Beru's hand while they look at trinkets in a market. Owen may be selling a harvest of their water in this sequence. My sources are not sure exactly why Owen leaves at this point. But I know what happens to Owen, but I don't know why he even left. Obi-Wan watches them from afar, their secret protector on this journey. Luke is ultimately safe, even though danger has come to Tatooine, and Owen sees that firsthand. So Luke is looking at some toys and is denied getting what he wants. He's not a spoiled kid. Luke and Beru continue with their day, and Luke is seemingly just happy to be off the farm for a time. These Luke sequences are said to be intercut with Leia, who has many interesting things in her room on Alderaan, including droids to assist her with whatever she has going on that day. Sometime later in the show, this is the meat of the story right here. Sometime later in the show or the series or the episode, I'm not sure how it unfolds, Obi-Wan signals for Owen, and they approach one another in the desert. Owen blames Obi-Wan for making things worse and not really helping. Obi-Wan has what some sources have said is a T-16 Skyhopper toy, and others have said it's just a starship of some kind. And he asks Owen if he can give it to the boy, and Owen says absolutely not. Owen feels the boy's life is in danger because Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Obi-Wan is trying to bring him toys, which is the last thing Luke Skywalker needs at that moment. He needs safety, not toys. This scene will mirror the lightsaber Kenobi would one day try to give Luke and also be denied. Dejected, Obi-Wan returns to the wilderness more alone than ever. Obi-Wan wants to connect with Luke, and he cannot. Owen is not exactly wrong, and he knows this. Sources say Leia has a pretty big and obvious role in the series. Luke is more in the periphery. It isn't his time to start adventuring just yet. He cannot see lightsabers or real action. He has to live a secluded life he doesn't understand until A New Hope. So the question I end up leaving with is the T-16 Luke is playing with in A New Hope, the one Obi-Wan wanted to give him? Will the series answer that? We do see Luke playing with 1 year later after his farm purchases 3PO and R2. If so, it is kind of nice to know that the things Obi-Wan wanted to give Luke eventually do get to him. And so that is the meat of that story. So, a lot there, yeah? I mean, I thought it was a lot. Anyone got any thoughts on that? Or are you all just speechless?
I'm speechless.
Rob usually goes first.
Wow, that's a... Yeah, all right, okay. No, man, look... I think the more interesting thing is that juxtaposition between like Luke and then cut to Leia. Like, I got too much. I'm so bored. And just toys in her room everywhere. She got the My Little Ponies. She got the Rainbow Brights. Cut to Luke and he's got, like half a Lego, just the top half of the Lego guy. I mean, he could stick into stuff, but he doesn't have the legs,
Yeah.
So, but he's happy to have his top half of Benny,
Right.
So. That's the part I'm actually really looking forward to.
And I was really worried in this article of making it seem as if Leia's some spoiled little brat who has that's not what this is. Just to be like all very clear, they treat Leia, I hear, with a lot of respect, and you supposedly totally fall in love with her. And that's what the people making it think. I hope they're right. But Luke is just at every corner denied. Like the happiness, everything is just super, super difficult. And like, they are bringing him up in a Kansas-like background. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't need toys. You need to work the farm. That that land. That kind of thing.
It'll be very interesting to see that conversation between Kenobi and Owen. In the desert, that could be very emotional, and he basically tells us Kenobi just to fuck off. You're putting our life in danger. Is that what happens, Jason? That's what I got from it.
Yeah. I'll go into Owen a bit more in a future piece. But that is essentially it. Is it's no secret that Inquisitors are here. So from Owen's perspective, why are the Inquisitors there? Are they there for Luke? No, they're not there for Luke. From Owen's perspective, Obi-Wan's making it worse.
And therefore,
get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say too, I could see it brewing in the minds of the people that just really want to hate something or dislike. Oh, so Obi-Wan just leaves Luke. He just gets on the fucking ship and goes. Yeah, actually, you know what? It's actually the smartest thing. It's so smart because by Obi-Wan leaving, it takes the Inquisitors who are down the street from Luke Skywalker off the planet. They're not going to send some little Force kid running around going doo-doo-doo-doo with this mind magic, just waiting to start doing that stuff. They're not going to do it. So when he gets the call to go and save Leia from Bail Organa, it makes complete sense. It's a twofer for him. He's winning on both hands. He gets to go save Leia and Luke at the same time. Ultimate hero. Fucking so smart. I think it's really smart.
Yeah.
Look at the movie star. What do you think, movie star? That's you, Max. Max is like, Max is speechless. Did we lose you again? I think we lost your audio again, Max. We lost your audio, Max. We cannot hear you again, unfortunately. But we'll go back to you when when you pump up the volume. But yeah. I mean, because
can I just say, Jason, thanks to Mark Hamilton for becoming a member.
Oh, did Mark Hamilton?
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, I'm in a weird way. I'm really sorry Mark Hamilton had to become a member. Mark Hamilton is such a helpful friend in all of this stuff, and he always, if I'm looking for something or whatever, he always comes and helps me, and I completely appreciate that, Mark, a lot. And thank you for becoming a member, even though I secretly hope that being a mod or something would allow you to not have to be one, but thank you so much. Yeah.
How about now?
I can hear you, Max.
Yes?
Yeah. The Empire cannot silence you.
Fuck.
Yeah, right.
Certified TH Max sound right there.
Stupid suck shit. Fuck.
That's about it. That's what it's like. Yeah.
So yeah. So do you have any thoughts, Max? Because I don't want to overlook you.
No. I don't know. Maybe one day Luke's gonna say, "Why the fuck did you get to go with the Richies and I'm stuck out here on a fucking sand planet?"
Yeah.
And I have no toys.
I was thinking
Luke
about
wants
that.
Jason. Luke wants the
Nobody
NES, and he's lucky if he gets the little Tiger handheld. You know what I mean? Like he's like, oh man, LCD Double Dragon.
Yeah, he is exactly that kid. I was strangely thinking, because like Rob, I think, and if I'm putting words in your mouth, by all means, just tell me to shut up. But I feel like the attachment idea from the Jedi, that the Jedi's version of attachment to you is kind of like, you think it's kind of ridiculous, right? You think it's kind of a
it's
like a silly concept. But in a weird way, Owen is almost helping Luke with that path, with that very thing, by not letting him have things. He is literally raised in a.
That's how my parents rationalized my childhood, Jason. Look, see how well you turned out. Yeah, all right, thanks, Dad. Really appreciate it. All right,
listen, dude. I think it's time. I used to hang out with your father, and he wanted you to have these when you were old enough.
I can't even see what you're doing right now, but it's funny.
There were some Ray-Bans. Yeah. But I mean, when you get down to it, like, Luke is a very, selfless guy, and I don't know if it really works this way in real life or not. I mean, in a way, I could see the more you're denied, the greedier you become, because you got to start fighting for your shit. Kind of see it going that way. But when we get into these tropes, like this Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker idea, like, they both are essentially living underneath the staircase of the uncle's house, and are overlooked, and they're a burden. And then when they get out, though, in these stories, they become mostly selfless people. Like, when you get down to it, like, what does Luke really want? When you get down to his character, and it's a question that the stories are so well told, we don't actually have time to ask. But what does Luke want? Does he just want to be? I guess he just wants to be kind of a space hero.
Wants to go to Anchorhead to get some.
Yeah, he wants adventure, and then he's told, "Oh, guess what? You can't have that either if you want to be a Jedi. That's not what this is about."
Cammy. That's what he wants.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. You know what I mean? There's not a lot going on Tatooine, and
cock blocking him every chance he gets.
With that mustache, and Luke still can't. It took Luke until Octu to grow a stash that could even start to compete, and he was way past his prime by that point. But yeah.
To be fair, he had it. He had it in the flashback. So.
They're constantly telling him no for everything. Can I have this? No. Can you do this? No. Or can I do this? No.
Yeah. No. I want to go to Tossie Station. Go clean the droids. I mean, yeah, and it's like it's kind of cool though. It's kind of cool because I've watched, like, when I think I heard about this, maybe it might have been July now. It's been a long time. So I watched A New Hope 4 or 5 times probably since then. And every time I watch it, I'm like, man, Owen makes just so much more sense now. Like, Disney, I'm going to say, haven't always necessarily made established characters better. They haven't contributed to things where I'm like, oh, I see this differently and it's better now. And in New Hope, I just kind of wanted to slap Uncle Owen for years. Like, what a dick. That's all I was like, what an asshole. I hate that guy, you know? And but now I see it, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Owen has a real valid perspective in all of this. He's not a bad guy, you know, but he is toasty.
He's just trying to keep Luke safe. That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
He's just trying to keep Luke safe. That's it.
Being
a good uncle.
Yeah. Yeah. He's being a very good parent. I imagined somebody coming into my neighborhood that is bringing something that's going to harm my child in there. And I'm like, oh, fuck you. Get out of town. Leave. We don't want you here. That would be my perspective too. So
Go to
Mark
Freetown.
Hamilton. This is Freetown. Mark Hamilton says, in A New Hope, you can see Luke's actual T-16 parked in the adjacent garage from the oil bath when he's talking to C-3PO in. Is that an actual physical prop or a matte painting? I believe it's made out of wood. I've always thought it was made out of wood, and I believe they built it. They rebuilt the same one for Attack of the Clones. It's been in there the whole time. So the idea is that like it's Owen's. So I could almost like my backstory in my brain is that Owen, you know, was a little bit more fun before life beat the shit out of him, and he had this T-16 that he flew around in. It was probably pretty new. I mean, he also had that really cool speeder bike that Anakin takes to find his mom, that like hot rod. So you could tell that like Owen had a cool side. That's how he picked up a hot babe on Tatooine and got married to her. And he
literally got that T-16 the day Obi-Wan shows up. He's like, oh no, man, I just fucking got the shit.
Yeah, so I imagine that thing just sits there and like Luke just won't stop. My backstory, Luke just won't stop bothering him about flying it eventually. You know, and he eventually relents.
Baru is like, I'm infertile. And no one's like, yeah, until Luke shows up. Son of a bitch.
Oh, man, he's like, I married this broad because I didn't want to have any kids, you know?
Yeah. And then
I wanted to fly spaceships and ride speeder bikes around. I don't want to call it a speeder bike. I want to call it a speed bike because that's what Boba Fett says, and it's funny when he says it that way. I'm a speed bike king. I love it. But happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you. Oh, thanks for reminding me it's Taco Tuesday. I've been doing this intermittent fasting, trying not to be such a fat fuck all the time. Thanks to my friend Rob, who's guiding me on this Jedi's journey. But I will eat some healthy Taco Tuesdays. I will do it.
Why we're never getting rid of Favreau. Always Taco Tuesday. You just truck out.
What's a healthy taco?
You know, a little street taco. Just a little bit of chicken in it, maybe. A little bit of chicken, a little bit of onions, a little bit of cilantro, some lime, a little bit of sauce. Maybe about 4 of them.
Australia.
You know, they're not big. They're like you know, like that.
In Australia, it's called coriander. So you know.
In Australia, it's called Vegemite.
That's hell. That's not good.
Justin, Justin, it's all about. Justin says for too long he's been overlooked. So Justin, now it's just me and you, Justin. Just me and you, Rob, and me, Chris, Max. And we're just looking at you right now.
You and me against the world.
You know what?
Helen Reddy songs you don't know about. What?
People don't understand how YouTube actually works. You know, you guys can see us.
The blood of children. That's
we can see you guys too. That's what people don't know is we can see through the screen right now. I can see what you're doing, Justin. I'm not judging you, dude. I actually respect you for it a little bit. But yeah. But I mean, I gotta say though, guys, like it's been like a really, really rad a couple of months as like a Star Wars fan. And like when I imagined in my wildest dreams ever getting to spoil anything from Star Wars and running scoops and shit like that, I can't lie. Like Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, what was going on there? That was the kind of shit that went in my head because I didn't know what to expect. And it's been kind of a little bit of a dream come true in a weird way to be able to do this part of it, you know, to do like be able to report on what Obi-Wan Kenobi is doing and what Luke thinks and what Uncle. And this is shit I thought I was thinking the prequels that I didn't get. That pissed me off for about 2 days when the prequels were being made and I got over real quick. But yeah, you know.
Do you think
Jason, you've been killing it lately, man. You've been killing it with the scoops lately. So we're eating, man. We as a fandom, we're eating. So thank you for
Thank
that.
you, dude. What was that, Max?
is Princess Leia gonna steal? Is she like a scene stealer? You think?
Yeah, I think so. It sounds like I'll be honest with you. When I first heard the stuff about Leia, I had a little bit of I don't know about, so I don't, you know, I kind of didn't know, and everyone was just like, she's good, it's great, and I was like, I'm like, and I know like sometimes people make things and they think they're doing like the greatest thing ever, and then they're actually not. But
standing ovation for BVS. Remember that standing ovation for BVS.
Yeah,
standing ovation.
I mean, yeah, hey,
5 minutes standing ovation.
maybe they just had to get their underwear out of their butt crack. I don't know, but but when
What
you
did
get
they say
down
about
to
Luke?
I gotta do that. Hold on. Damn it! You
Yeah.
reminded me.
yeah, do it, dude. You're way easier to talk to when you don't have the underwear. But
That's
but
That sounds like a wedgie being pulled out.
no, they my concern for the series has been that there's going to be a bunch of boring shit of little Princess Leia on Alderaan with the perfect life, if you will. When I say perfect life, I don't really mean that, but I mean like with her mom and dad who love her and are like, your education matters to us, and she's in this opulent place with a king size bed, I assume, and robots that are pouring.
School.
Yeah, she's getting you know. What are these things that my kid eats and doesn't throw away called Lunchables? She's getting Lunchables. She's eating Lunchables all the time with juice boxes, high C, and like Luke's like, oh man, I get to drink some blue milk, blue titty milk, and you know, not having a good time. No, but
it used to come out of Aunt Beru. At least now we gotta, you know, we get this shit ordered to go into town.
What they did was from what I understand, what they've done with Leia is they found somebody, a child, a kid who is able to give the smart ass sass in a very convincing Carrie Fisher level way. So you know, when Obi-Wan shows up with, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe no weapon that he can show because he's pretending to be somebody else to her to save her from the spice den. She thinks this lunatic has come to save her without real weapons. And I hear that's like, it's pretty funny. It's well done. You know, it's equivalent of, you came in that thing, you're braver than I thought. Well, we've all been there. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, it's the same kind of thing. So yeah. Oh, I missed this a few minutes ago. We missed it. It was about to be two on Taco Tuesday. God, we should have done the show later and done Taco Tuesday at that very moment. The universe would have exploded. But anyways, it's a weenie roast in the hot tub. I don't know. Yeah, it's because you got all that Skywalker and midi-chlorians.
It's all the twos. I'm feeling very energetic. What Rini roast?
I'm shocked that we never got a cool synth band that covers Star Wars music called the Midi-Chlorians, and it's all in MIDI. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Right? We've never got that.
Yeah. No, we will not see Leia fly with the spacesuit on. Not this time. As far as I know.
At a young age, Qui-Gon taught me voices in my head. What?
Yeah. Right.
Never saw that coming. That's how he ends up in the show. People don't know that. It's because he teaches Leia he keeps trying to jump out the ship in space, and they keep trying to stop her. I can do it. I know I can do it.
Yeah.
How old are they supposed to be in this one?
10.
10.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's enough that they're big enough to, you know, not be like, I'm a dumb baby, don't know where I am. And they're all to be like, you know, like to know what adults are supposed to be doing and to have some composure, which is
not completely
good.
Like asshole kid in the middle school, right?
Yeah. They're older than Anakin is in Phantom Menace, you know, and but they're not they're not old enough that yet they could become Ezra Bridger and pick up the lightsaber and just start doing it themselves either. And so like I said, I was a little bit concerned about it, and just the more I spoke to sources about it, like over the summer and a little after the summer, like we're like, yeah, well, we did something. I think they all think they're all like, we did something special here. It's good.
Nice.
Yeah. And like one friend of mine who works on it was saying, like, didn't like the prequels. Like, I like the story of the prequels, just didn't really like them. It didn't have the things I wanted to see. And they're like, but we've done that. So he's like, he's all the weirdest way. I thought I would never get to work on the prequels, and then now here I am working on the prequel movie I thought I was going to see in 2005 or whatever. And I'm like, nice.
Also, new spoiler, turns out that Leia learned how to fly in space on the Galactic Starship for the very first time. She just jumped out. Yeah, she jumped out of it. She got a reservation? So fucking boring.
She got a reservation?
Boring. She decided to try to learn how to fly through space. Yeah. Leia gets everything, Jason. Don't you know that? She got reservations.
Yeah. When you guys were youngins and the prequels came out, were you like when like Revenge of the Sith happened, were you like, I didn't get the stuff that I want? Because I ended up like being reserved or resigned, for that matter, to okay, what I thought I was going to get was just my assumption, and I just like let it go. And I was like, it's all implied, so fine. But were you guys disappointed like by episode 3?
I loved it. I was 17. At the time, and so I got into Star Wars. Watched the Phantom Menace when I was 11, and I've just been hooked since. So
you've just been a prequel kid the whole time.
11, 14. It's everything that I wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Max?
Specifically, Revenge of the Sith?
Or whatever. I mean, if you want to say Attack of the Clones, or
whatever. No, I guess I really didn't. I wasn't expecting anything. I didn't know what to expect from the prequel, so I just took whatever came.
Right.
So,
yeah, because I was like, and then Rob didn't even want to see it. Right? Your friend made you see it
by the third one.
By the third one, you were like, I'm out.
Yeah, Attack of the look, I spent years thinking about the scene where, like Anakin wants to leave and go off. Whether when he was young or I always figure Anakin came back to Tatooine, like he quit the Jedi Order, brought his girlfriend to Tatooine and they're having a shit time with Owen, like we're just gonna stay here, and then like Obi-Wan comes back, hey, we could defeat we can win the Clone Wars, help me fucking one last time. And Owen's like, stay the fuck away from my friend. But, he's not your brother, he's my brother and shit, and then Anakin chooses fucking to leave, like he like walks away from his family and then ends up losing himself, and that there was another resentment there, and in Attack of the Clones, when Owen's like not even a stepbrother, they just, I guess that makes us brothers. I'm like, fuck this shit. Like, I just, I get Lucas was an only child and doesn't understand real relationships on any level.
Me too. That's why I was only child until I was 16. So maybe that's why I was like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, who is this guy?
But this fight between family and like your chosen family and your real family, or your blood family, right? Like,
yeah,
like and what that represents. I don't know, man. Like, it's just the whole thing's fucking weird. So it's great to see them find a way around it, to find another context, right?
Yeah.
Versus fans endlessly making videos trying to explain to you how you're really just stupid and you didn't get it. Like, here's how you actually got it, because in this one scene, there's a little thing in the background right there, and that's the thing right there. See, that proves that Lucas knew what he was doing. All right, go! And they run around the fucking room like they all solved the fucking great mystery of the prequels. And it's like, it's not that special. It's not that deep. Like, it's a lot of tech demos so he can sell ILM to other companies. So with some nifty Dune references, like the Chosen One, I mean, I didn't read Dune until after the Phantom Menace, because my friend who was 10 years older than me, he's like, I was like, what's with this Chosen One shit? He goes, it's from Dune. I'm like, I gotta fucking read that shit. I hate the movie. I like the comic book that Bill Sienkiewicz drew, But I'll be honest, I never read it because I fucking hate the movie. All versions of it. And then I read some of Dune before I quit halfway. I'm like, oh, this Chosen One shit. Is this the Jedi? I get the Jedi, the Sisterhood. I get all this shit. Why did he put this in the prequels? I mean, what's funny is, why put more Dune in the prequels? Like, was anyone in 1994 going like, man, I hope he puts more Dune into this shit? And he did it. So... Yeah, I can talk about the prequels all day. You want to do that?
Well, I mean, I can, because I think I'm getting the last laugh because I get my cake and I get to eat it too now. Everything that we wanted from that part of, mostly from that stuff, is kind of getting put into this in a roundabout way. So I feel like Lucas gets to have this vision, and some of those old ass expectations are being met finally.
I wanted Owen to do jack shit. You're changing it. I don't. This is not the deal we signed for. It's getting worse all the time.
Yeah,
that sounds familiar.
It's true. But yeah. Leia. From what I understand, like I said, I was told that Leia has all kinds of stuff. In The Phantom Menace, when little Anakin is in his room, and you kind of see like the little things that he has, like his little toys and stuff that are around in there. Like we kind of have that with Leia in a way, but her life is nice at this time. She's a princess, and the room fucking reflects that as it should, and
Obi-Wan's like, you're a spoiled little shit.
Well, and Leia and Leia is also a super selfless person in the end, who like devotes her life to resistance essentially, but also she does leave the Jedi Order. And when you have to wonder, is that the difference between Leia and Luke at the end of the day? The
other problem is she still trades stocks. So is
that what it was?
There's always an asterisk when you serve in the Galactic Senate. Just letting you know.
Yeah. So at first when I read Justin's question, I only saw, so do you think there will be a fair? And I was like, yeah, Owen takes Luke to the fair, dude.
The Kylo Ren fair.
Maybe Beru might be pregnant, so we took her to the fair, if you know what I mean. No, I was like,
shit.
Do you think there will be a fair amount of prequel visual elements?
She got Order 66th. Shit.
Oh no. Do I think there will be a fair amount of prequel visual elements in the show? I do think so. I do, but also to an extent, you're gonna see a lot of the things that you would just expect to see because of the era. So I don't want to oversell that and get anybody's hype, anybody hyped up or whatever. And I don't know what it is, but I heard that in Leia's room, there's supposedly something related to Padme that they put in there, like something that the family got to her, and it's in her room. And I don't know if she even knows that it's something from Padme. But so when the show comes out, look for it, is what I've been told. And when it's
not that fucking that thing he carved for her, is it?
The Japper snippet is on her. She's buried with she's killed. When she's killed, she wears that to her funeral.
Forgot.
Yeah, the old Jabber snippet. It's not lucky, is it? Yeah. But Mark Hamilton saw when Phantom Menace came out, I was like, what is this? And thankfully I was so enamored with the work of Doug Chiang that the look of it didn't bother me. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, this is going to evolve. This is going to go from the 1950s looking cars to like a Chevy Nova, the Millennium Falcon or whatever. I get how we're going there. And so it pretty much worked for me. By the way, I'm not going to show the picture because it's embarrassing, but I found this picture of me from this acoustic show that I did when I was like 18, and I noticed on my wrist, I'm wearing a Naboo, a watch that's done in like the Naboo style that I bought at like Sears or something. And I'm like, what a fucking nerd. But
oh my God.
Yeah, Marcel, I liked it, but it was not what I was expecting. This is true. Oh no! Happy birthday again, dude. But yeah, you we gotta keep your eye on you. You be careful.
This is like the time Jason wanted to put out a whole book of Naboo haiku because it rhymed, right?
Yeah.
it's like tone poems for the for the assholes.
Yeah. Wood and stars, space. Why? Marble, how? Don't know. Don't care.
Right. Children murdered, all of them. I'm in love, madly, deeply. Fuck.
Broken heart must die. Live on through rebellion. Through rebellion. Through rebellion. Okay. Justin says, I was prime age for prequels. Loved every second of them. I didn't learn the prequels were universally hated until many years later, and it was mind-blowing to me. Yeah, it was. I always left those movies feeling like your visceral reaction to that is so over the top. I was just like, what are these fucking people's problems? I started defending things that I even didn't like because I was just like, because the hyperbole was so strong. I was like, it's not that bad. It's not that big of a deal. But I kind of feel a little bit vindicated on that front because as time has gone on, people have like let a lot of that shit go. And as I think this other stuff starts to fill in, I think people are kind of like a little open to them just being weird movies. And I think that's ultimately good because they are just really weird movies. All of them are really. They're all clunky, weird pieces. I'm not justifying making bad choices or anything in the films, but I mean, they're all kind of a little bit weird. I defended those prequels to the OT-age fans, and most of them hated them. Yeah. That's what was just to me was like strange, but I get it. I mean, I don't think anybody was like, I'm just gonna hate this movie I wanted to love for years to be extreme. I probably thought that then though. I probably thought that.
To be fair, I defended it after the Phantom Menace. It was Attack of the Clones. I'm like, oh no, they're right. This is going nowhere. Fuck this shit. I quit. But I'm out of here. It's fucking stupid. Yeah, this little stupid fucking thing.
I don't think I really realized how many people hated the prequels until I saw that movie that they went out and made about George Lucas ruining my childhood.
The people versus George Lucas.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
I fucking hated that movie because they didn't get me in it. I was like, the people you have defending it, no, you needed the number one public defender of Star Wars, me. That's how I felt about it at the time.
Could you have been in it?
Oh, I would have defended the shit out of it. I would have done way better than what they did in that. Yeah. Because I don't. It's been years since I've seen it, but I remember just like in my head yelling at the screen as I watched it. Why are you saying that? Why aren't you? In my mind, but I'm sure. But it's always in hindsight. It's easier to armchair stuff. I'm sure everybody did their best job. You know what I mean? But prequel haters were just the loudest assholes in the room, and that's pretty true. And
those assholes are the loudest.
It's true. The problem with it was just that it for me at the time is that they just wouldn't let you discuss it. They wouldn't let you enjoy it. Like they had a bad time, so you were going to have a bad time. And that's where I was like, okay.
I don't agree with any of that shit. I've never been one of those guys who's like, oh, you like it? I'm going to tell you why that thing you like is fucking stupid. It's like, I hate that shit. Like, what? Like when I tell you people I like Avatar, and all you motherfuckers got to sit here and tell me how fucking idiot I am. You're like it's just Dances with Wolves on Tatooine. Oh no, that's Book of Boba Fett. Oh shit, son.
This guy likes blue people. This blue guy likes blue people. This blue guy likes blue people. Yeah, look.
George Lucas played a blue guy in Revenge of the Sith. Just letting you know.
Oh shit, you're all together.
Yeah, I'm playing a blue guy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Hamilton says the thing that threw me the most about the Phantom Menace was the ending and how easily Anakin destroyed the droid control ship by accident. I was waiting for a huge space battle at the end, and it never came. Yeah, it really. My problem with it, if I wanted just to be critical of the script or what Lucas wrote or the thought process, was that you have Jar Jar Binks going around accidentally doing all of this stuff, and then you have the little boy do one of the main things in the movie on accident after he was very capable in a pod race in the beginning. It's like that's the one. But I have no problem with it if I never knew anything else. And I was like, this kid, he touches the thing, he doesn't know what he's doing, and he uses the Force, and then it happens, and he does it, and he's just like, it's intuitive. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But it's when you look at it all together that I go like, you can definitely be critical of this.
Well, here's another weird fucking thing. It was like, I mean, Qui-Gon is a very different Jedi than everyone else. So I figured after he died, he'd start talking like in Attack of the Clones. At some point, Obi-Wan would get the fucking voice in his head from Qui-Gon, like during a moment of fucking need. You know what I mean? And Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan not knowing what the fuck is this, and then like it's like there's what is that, and it's like being able to like there's another side to the Force that none of you fuckers know about. You know what I mean? Because you've been so closed-minded this whole time. And then like it's just not dealt with in any meaningful manner.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what a missed opportunity, like to watch that way. When you see Luke hear that voice in his head, you get to see Obi-Wan hear it for the first time too and go, what the fuck is going on? Like that way, talk about poetry and rhyming. So just a lot of like missed opportunities.
Yeah. They did construct the scene with Yoda telling Obi-Wan, like, you have this training to do. And then they were going to have Qui-Gon appear to Yoda, and they were going to start to like open up that possibility. And I think on the cutscene, I love this scene when I read it, but when you watch it, it's just Ben Burt being like, I'm Qui-Gon Jinn. I do the sound for Star Wars. Remember me? And you're like, it doesn't, because Liam Neeson was like busy and they hadn't got him in. And then they decided, well, we'll just cut it and not get Liam Neeson back for no reason.
I'm the future voice of Wall-E. Yay, Wall-E. Right?
So our buddy Dale says his programmable ring lights are here. I can make them light up and flash like the engines are blowing out fire. He's talking about his the Mandalorian starship from the HasLabs, and he's going to run all of the into it and make it all like super film quality or whatever.
Off.
Yeah.
Dale.
What's the status of
yours?
Are you selling yours, Rob? Or are you going to open it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the price is like mellowed out, like as I figured it would have, right? But then I'm like, but what if the fucking ship comes back in season 4? Then there's gonna be a run on that. I don't know what to do with this toy. I got the toy for me, and now with the show, I'm so like Boba Fett's got me like, do I really like this? Was I hoodwinked? I have to go back and rewatch. Did I really like any of this? Yeah, I've been tricked
I watched
before.
Mando season 1 and 2. I put them on like while I was just doing stuff, around the house and whatever and working and stuff. And I had them on, and you do. It's not the same thing. It's just not. Now, if Mando season 3 comes out and it's like Book of Boba Fett 1-to-1, I think it would be a very surprising drop off and change. It would be like somebody just clearly lost interest and kept making the show for the cash or something. But I don't think you do that with Star Wars, because Star Wars fans are brutal. They're not nice to you, and they don't like you.
Money is important, Jason. That's why I made the biggest Jedi, the toughest Jedi green. Because green, even if it's just $1, right? You'll fight for it. Green. It's not the size of the money. It's just the green's important.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say something off topic here? I was watching the show the other day on a replay after work, and Rob was like, he said something like, Chris won't be able to watch the trailer because I'm playing in a match or something. And I was dying. Rob, that was the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life, dude. I love that shit, man. He said something.
It had to be about you, though, right? That's the trick, right? The funniest shit in the world is I'm talking.
I was dying, bro. I was dying, mate. I heard that shit and I was like, I'm gonna miss the trailer because I'm playing a match.
Yeah, Well, it does. I do think though that's the. Do you ever watch Full Metal Alchemist? Are you familiar with the term equivalent exchange? See. Yeah, if you can get it right, but there has to be a cost, and the cost is you're gonna be in some real important game, and you're gonna be really fucked up because you're like, everyone's looking at their phone. You can see them all looking at it, right? The guy across from you doesn't even give a shit about Star Wars, like it's a fucking Star Trek guy.
Mark Hamilton. Mark Hamilton says, I was once in a combo with Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright, and both of them were shitting on the prequel trilogy and trolled me for saying I liked them. That's kind of funny. Yeah, remember what was the show he had? That one where he burns all of his Phantom Menace toys. Space. Yeah, I love Space. Yeah. And then that came out, and I'm like probably 18, 19, I think. I don't know, somewhere around there. And I'm just like, why are you doing this, Simon Pegg? Why are you doing this to me? I loved your show. Why are you doing this, buddy? But didn't
he apologize after the sequels for that?
Well, yeah, after he wanted to
has no room to complain now.
Right? Yeah.
Have no room to complain now,
Yeah, I remember that. Like he was doing that. I think when they were making the Force Awakens, he was saying something about it. It was just so tired. I was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it does get a bit
annoying.
Yeah. And even my old message board posts that get me in trouble and stuff, like we were all a bit of edgelords back then. Like that's just how the kind of comedy generally was. It was just like, oh, I'm gonna push it too far constantly. And so I definitely don't, hold it against the guy or whatever. But I do appreciate famous people trolling Mark Hamilton. That I do appreciate. Dell says,
I think you better finish that Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Be careful.
Yeah, not right. Mark Hamilton. Yeah, I did that too. Find these and they look awesome. Mall dining is the worst part of the movie, says Johnny boy. And by the way, I've made Johnny listen to tons of St. Vincent this week. I've been like, you're gonna learn St. Vincent. You're gonna learn all about making good music, my friend. Not that he doesn't know, but I'm just trying to push my shit on him. And but one thing I forgot to tell him is that every St. Vincent record has songs about a character named Johnny, and boy is that Johnny troubled. Mark Hamilton.
Johnny discovers DeBarge.
Mark Hamilton, let's when you are not busy and it's convenient for you, I am seeking your guidance for this MSW Discord. The truth is I love Star Wars Santa's Discord so much and reading it and hanging out there that I haven't really felt like a big need to go and have my own or whatever. But at the same time, I'm sure Star Wars Santa's like, you should get your own place, bud. And so I think it's time you stop sleeping on my internet couch over here. And but yeah, we definitely need to set one up. And I know you
should get your own poll, Jason. Get off my pole, damn it.
Little bitch. Whoa. Mark Hamilton says the price will go higher, Rob. Just sit on it. The barge now goes for $2,000 to $3,000. And yeah, I really do think Mando is going to only I think is going to become more revered over time. I mean, we just saw it in Book of Boba that they know how to write him. They know his character. They know what they want to do with them. They just know how to puppet that character, and they just didn't really know how to puppet.
They don't know
Boba Fett. And with Boba, I kind of understand where they're coming from. Not that I am excusing it or didn't want more. I did, but I think like with Boba Fett, like George Lucas cast the actor for Boba Fett, 20 years ago. Like they were locked into all of these things that they had to adhere to, and it just didn't allow them to play their best jazz solos over those stories. But Mando, Din Djarin, they can, because it's whatever their story instincts want. They just are able to follow it. And with Boba, they couldn't. And I think that's where we had some iffy stuff.
Boba Fett rhymes like Deborah Harry. Like okay, sure, right.
I liked And to be clear, I do like the Book of Boba Fett. I do enjoy like the things that they are. The whole time I'm just like, this is what you did with the Boba Fett. Like I love the Luke Skywalker training Grogu stuff. I fucking love that. But I at the same time, like I go like, this is what you decided to do with the Boba Fett show is have Luke Skywalker training a baby? Like what? Like what are you guys doing?
Misplaced.
Yeah. It's just like it's not the time for that. It would be kind of like introducing Din Djarin in episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Like, what are you doing? But
yeah.
And then Johnny 5 says, in my own opinion, YouTube or Twitch chat is the perfect amount of separation between fans and creators. Okay. All right, Johnny. Yeah, actually, I want to be a bit of a little bit of a bummer for real quick, but I want to highlight something that somebody wrote on Star Wars Leaks for me. Not like I told them to. They wrote it about me, and I appreciated it because the Star Wars Leaks people are down to ban me from their thing. They can't even mention me there, but they'll cover my scoops, as we always laugh about. And this person, who I don't know this person for the record, but I want to thank them. I'm thanking you. They said Legal Eagle 1992 writes, I might get banned or downvoted for this, but MSW pretty much debunked the allegations by doing a 2-hour video, which included a recorded phone call with one of the girls involved, in which she admits that it was a misunderstanding and that things got out of hand before she could retract what she said. As regards the allegations of using spoilers to attract underage girls, he showed screenshots that disproved what people are saying about this. People on Twitter jumped on the allegations and took out of context jokes as proof of him being a child predator. As an example, members of Star Wars Leaks may recall the whole holy trinity of leakers around Tross, Bespin Bulletin, MSW, and Jedi Paxis. There was some tweet where Jason jokingly replied to a comment related to this on Twitter with "my child," as in a member of the clergy. Absolute morons on Twitter took this the wrong way and savaged him for it. I'm all for consequences for people's actions, but only if there is solid evidence of the wrongdoing. The Star Wars Twitter community were completely wrong in this one particular case and pretty much torched the guy's career for something they didn't have the facts on. If anybody doesn't believe me or thinks I am some form of horrible anti-victim monster, I'd at least recommend you hear MSW's full explanation before making your mind up. And I thank you for that. I think that that is my basic human right. And anybody in a democratic society is human right to have the evidence heard. And I am completely, I'm a believe victims person. Believe victims until you get to assess the evidence. Don't assume that the victim is lying and wrong. Be on their side and treat them as a victim until it is proved that they are or they are not. And when they're not, that's when you go to the next step. You don't just simply believe women, no matter the evidence. Like, that's not what the concept is. That's understanding the headline of the concept, not following through.
Unless it's my opinion about Star Wars, and then just assume I'm always wrong, no matter how much evidence I present to you, right? Over a course of 8 months, could be years now, we're going to be doing this, Yeah. I'm always fucking wrong. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, but it's like the Star Wars Leaks, like people, like they have like moderators who write for other Star Wars websites who have an investment in me being a bad guy, because they are literally profiting off of their mind, this competition. And what I've always said, and which they will never understand, is the pie is big enough for all of us, and you can't fucking do what I do. You do it your way, and I do it my way. We don't do the same thing. Therefore, there is no competition. You're playing up against the Phantom. It makes no sense.
See, here's what I don't get, though. Here's what I don't get about it. No, Jason, here's what I'll be serious here for a second.
Yeah.
What I don't get about these people who take your info and then, generate credibility or money, whatever they do with it, right?
Income, clout, whatever they want. Yeah.
I don't get them. Like, if that's part of their revenue stream, I get the people who their entire revenue stream is just making up bullshit Star Wars news all day, trying to like take you out some way, because it kind of conflicts with their agenda to just make up stories left and right. So who cares?
Right.
You constantly report on actual shit happening behind the scenes of Star Wars. So people who then use your legit news to also give them credibility, how does it help them to take you out if they're going to lose? They don't have their own sources. They don't have their, like, it's the weirdest fucking, the logic doesn't make any sense other than they're just jealous little bitches. You know what I mean? Who, are just so, hey, why does this guy get all the scoops?
Here is the truth is essentially being a small site that is self-publishing my work with no corporate funding whatsoever. It's me. I've made more people make more money off of my work than I will ever see. Every time I put out an article before the bogus allegations or after, some big website some corporately backed website or some website, film site with 500 bajillion followers puts out, covers my story, they make way more than I ever will every single time. And hey, I'm fine, cool. All I ask is that you cite me. All I ask is that that you credit me for the work that I've done and that the labor I put into bringing info out. But what is hilarious is Star Wars Leaks has deleted that message that I read for you. Somebody literally stating the truth. A forum that is supposed to be about true leaks that supposedly values the truth is deleting the truth and not allowing it to be there. And I don't know why,
It's a bullshit site, man. I don't see Reddit being, if Reddit's worse than NeoGAF. I've never once
don't start naming shit and getting me like, I don't want NeoGAF coming out. I don't want, you know what I mean?
There is no NeoGAF. It went away.
Okay.
So it doesn't exist anymore. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah.
And it took this thing where it used to be this forum where, hey, a lot of cool shit went down, and then it turned into this fucking cesspool of assholes who, I mean, I had a whole bunch of people come after me when I took over a video game magazine on NeoGAF, and it was just, here's all of his shit sucks. He's a fucking asshole. I'm like, you don't even know what is this site? I thought it's not like, you would think Reddit is like a place where people are having discussions, but apparently there's an upper like agenda, an editorial agenda that's hiding behind a message board forum like facade, right? It's no different than Harry. I'm not saying Harry knows, but then Ain't It Cool News, at least there you knew a guy was in charge, right? You knew there was people, hey, we're not going to post this or talk about this. They have sort of an agenda. But Reddit likes to pretend like it isn't. It's open source. It's like, no, it isn't. There's a legitimate editorial agenda here, and they're just like, they're like the Illuminati of Reddit. I don't know. I don't have an explanation for a better description. Does that make sense? Like,
that the moderators of that subreddit, they definitely do. I sent them the video. I've DM'd them before to be like, hey, you guys are making a mistake. I get crickets about it, and it's like, well, they're willing to let people say really horrible things about me, to imply really horrible things about me, but they're not willing to let the actual truth out there. And that's what's ultimately the most fucked up part. And that's just what, that's not going to make me go away. It's not going to make me go, oh, I'll pack it up and everybody else can do, you know what I mean? Because it's like, what did you guys get when I wasn't doing it? Yeah. How good did the Book of Boba Fett go for you guys when I sat that one out? I mean, I don't mean you guys, you know what I mean? I mean, but it's just like, think about it. You know what I mean? And your competition here doesn't actually make any sense, and neither does hiding the truth. So, anyways, I'm so sorry to keep harping on it, but it is my life. It is something that keeps happening. Mark Hamilton says, I find it interesting that the most vitriol towards Jason seems to be coming from the left. The right-leaning commentators who are not Jason fans have not been as vocal about cancelization BS. Yeah, I mean, that's very strange to me. I mean, when it very first happened, there were a lot of those really, Alex Jones types were out there going pretty heavy on it or whatever. They couldn't wait because they want to, look at the contradictions of the left and all that kind of shit. But at the end of the day, it's like I've pissed a lot of people off for a lot of different reasons, but usually because I was doing it doing things the right way or my own way, or not doing what they wanted me to. And that's how I made the left mad. I made the left mad because when the truth didn't go with their agenda, they did get really mad at me. And for the record, I'm still very left. That didn't change my political beliefs or anything like that. It just shows me that they're bad leftists. You know what I mean? That was my take on it, you know. And my take is also, you could be whatever your political beliefs are. You can be wrong with your political beliefs. That's my take too. For what it's worth, if you believe what you believe, who am I to tell you what to believe? But when there's actual evidence of something here, that's when I want you to believe the truth. So Mark says, I agree. Some of these cancellation cops are happy to take Jason out, so they are higher on the totem pole. Yeah, and it's like, and I'll tell you this.
It's so crazy. They do think that way. They think there's some weird fucking hierarchy, and if we get rid of that, it reminds me of like I don't know, like some weird form of like. You ever watch those like Master Chefs? I watched Master Chef Australia, like up into like
Chris was on it. Chris was on it.
Yeah, and every now and then you get these cats who are like, they were pretty nice, but every now and then someone's really happy when someone leaves. Oh, now it's mine to take, and it's like, nah, you'll fuck yourself up. There's no ranking here. You know, it's so fucking stupid. So like,
yeah, it's pretty funny too that how Jason set out, Boba Fett, and I don't think one leak came true. Like, I don't think one. People assumed that Mando and Grogu would go up, and they did, but everything else was absolute bullshit. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show that.
Hey, you know what else we could have sat out? Disney Plus Day, Jason. All right, go back and watch the video of me banging my head against the table for like an hour. Like, why are we doing this? So fucking horrible.
I had to make sure, that it, like that's always the problem is when somebody says something. I don't know if what they're saying is true unless I've been told that's not true. Here's what it is. You know what I mean? And like on Disney Plus Day, I was told, no, I don't think we're doing anything. Not that I know of. So I thought, oh, maybe my sources just don't know. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, we had to sit there and I thought, well, hey, we're going to get up. And if there's stuff to talk about, there's stuff to talk about. There's that. And I wanted to be up because if the Kenobi things had dropped then, I could have started talking about what I'm talking about now. I was like, okay, now it's Kenobi time had they done it, but they didn't do it. Because I thought there was going to be a Kenobi trailer around that time too. Not that I was reporting it, but I thought, oh, they probably are going to show something. They have stuff to show. They probably are. And then we were told no, and here we go. There we had it. But yeah, I mean, like I'm totally cool with saying, hey, that guy's a stuttering fucking buffoon with shitty comedy. With his ghost friend.
Your thumbnails look stupid.
Your thumbnails look fucking stupid. You don't organize your show for shit. It lags.
You gotta use a Cooper font. You gotta use Cooper Black. That's the only thing that works on YouTube. What the fuck you doing with sans serifs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally fine with that, but don't go and QAnon me because that tactic, works again. Like I'm fucking Hillary Clinton or Podesta, and it's my emails. I mean, give me a fucking break. I mean, it's what's funny about it is those people, you'll see them going off all about, for the last couple of years about resistance and all that kind of shit. You literally use the tactics of the opposition. I'll say that much about you guys. They're fucking monsters.
Yeah, but don't be the techno union. All right.
Yeah,
you're just part of the problem.
Be a tech guy. Don't be a techno. Yeah. George Lucas is a tech guy. In case you guys don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna call him General Dolby, but it was too close.
General Dolbius. But, yeah, but there's there was a story that I wanted to touch on as well, and it's from Latino Review, and I wasn't running out to it because I was or LRM online because I was like, we kind of covered it, but it's fair enough that they did. But they ran a scoop last week, and in their story they're talking about how there's going to be 2 fights with Darth Vader in this series. So there's 2 fights. And if you guys recall, I have been told that Darth Vader is in episode 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm kind of been wondering, like, I hear all this stuff and I try to like place it out and figure it out. No one's telling me like, oh, it's in, in episodes 7, 9, and 10, this happens. Like, there's only 6 episodes, but you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know where things happen. So I'm like, I have like kind of like a timeline of that I've made for myself to try to make sense of all of this stuff. And I'm like laying it out and everything. And I'm like, so I have a feeling, or my guess is basically every other episode they fight once Darth Vader shows up. I'm thinking they Darth Vader probably shows up in 3, and they have. This is my theory is when Darth Maul gets to the Queen Starship in Phantom Menace and they have the little fight with Darth Maul, and then Qui-Gon jumps on the ship and they fly away. So I'm thinking we have our first fight, which is the equivalent of that, and then we have them kind of like rebounding, right? And then the next time, then I think we have the story goes on with trying to get away, and I'm gonna guess in the last episode though they fight. So, but do you think they would have Obi-Wan fight him in the penultimate episode and make that the big action thing, and then in the 6th episode have everything like going back to Obi-Wan returning back to Tatooine and like getting his house and Qui-Gon and all that stuff like all happening? Like do you think they would save that all for the thing, or do you think that they would only do the main Vader fight in the 6th episode?
Judging from past series, all the action takes place in the final episode. That's what I think is going to happen. In the last 10-15 minutes, everything's going to like fall into place, but there's definitely going to be some action in the final episode. Right. In my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to put something in there. But the other thing is like I broke last week that the third sister is Reva. Her name is Reva. And the other thing is like, what's Reva's fate? Will Reva be turned back to the good side and ultimately help them? Or does Reva have to be dispatched essentially too? Because if she does, she has to be killed, I should say. That would mean we could probably do that in episode 5, where she's finally onto him, and then that positions Vader to have the fight with Kenobi. So because they're gonna have to kill her or turn her back.
Jason, no, she grows. That's part of Star Wars, and she's able to change, and she evolves. And so Leia says it's a revolution, and that
a revolution.
Yeah, it's a revolution.
Why didn't you give me that before? We could have been like.
All I know, man, is every time Vader shows up, I want a fan edit with the ba dang dang diggy diggy up chuck the Wookiee.
Here's
right, every time Vader shows up, just start blasting it.
My article on Leia and Reva, those things would have been completely different, and it would have been called The Princess and the New Power Revolution. That's what I would have done with it. I would have princed it up. And I didn't get to because as my head writer, you're delivering late. Is my point.
I'm the artist. I'm the writer. A typical comic book company, I'm being tasked to do way more than I was being paid to do.
Exactly.
A typical comic company, I'm paying to be here, so it kind of makes sense.
Hey,
I take it back.
If you want to be in the chat, you got it.
With my typos, hold on.
Yeah. No, that would be seamless. Okay. All my typos are actually Rob's writing. It's confirmed. Mark Hamilton says, Jason, you may as well recap the Qui-Gon story yourself, as that's now circulating on the YouTubes. Yeah. So I went on Star Wars Santa's show and dropped that Qui-Gon is, my sources have told me Qui-Gon is in the show. You will see Qui-Gon, or you will hear Qui-Gon. And I don't know if we physically see Qui-Gon, or if Qui-Gon starts off as a voice and then becomes a ghost, and how that goes. But that is going to happen, and they're gonna have the conversation that you kind of wanted Kenobi and Qui-Gon to have, that you always thought that would have happened, and that is going to happen. But I'm being completely honest. I don't know if it's Liam Neeson physically or just a voice. And there's evidence for it to go either way right now. And I mean, I'm not saying that this is what they're doing, but I mean, maybe maybe they hadn't even decided at the time that they filmed. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. But yeah, he's coming. So we're gonna have Qui-Gon, and that makes me very, very happy. And I released that on Star Wars Santa Show. So watch Star Wars Santa Show. It's a good show. Lot going on there. You just think you're like with Santa Claus, but it's the Star Wars Santa. So all kinds of
Christmas came early for Santa.
Yeah.
Spoilers on Santa's show.
And I don't ever sit on his lap though. I don't do it. I won't.
One last spoiler before World War III.
Yeah. Yeah. You know when Anakin and Padme are about to like go into the arena, and she's like, before we die, I just want you to know. That's what the story was like today with me and you guys. I was like, Luke Skywalker, he's in it, and before we die, I want you to know. So, yeah. Yeah, a part of me hopes though, because like there is a lot going on with the Reva character, and I don't know if it's Ventress work, where like Ventress, we had kind of two things with Ventress. We had them really building her up to be a pretty good villain, and then we ultimately had let's actually like show that somebody can just stop being a villain. And she just gets a new job. She just goes in a new life direction after these bad things happen. And you're like, okay, yeah, And so with Reva, I don't know if that's where they're going. I hear that they love Moses Ingram, and I heard that the performance is really, really good. So I think I'm kind of almost curious if maybe at one time there was a plan to kill her, and then they're going to change or something. And then they changed it, or if we're going to learn something like that, because I just feel like they have more in store for the character and the actor, but I can't confirm anything on that. I don't have anything where I could throw it out there. And I know for certain, yeah, for old Reva
McEntire,
the third sister, Reva McEntire. She it's this really cool part where she comes up and she's like Kenobi doesn't have his lightsaber. She's actually standing on him with that blade that like spins, and she goes, "Let's give him something to talk about." Yeah, it happened. No, that doesn't happen.
Oh my gosh,
it doesn't happen. But yeah,
where Jason? Where do you think if Vader and Kenobi fight twice? Where do you think the first? Do you think it could be in Alderaan? What do you think it could be? Because yeah, it's interesting to think about.
Yeah, so the there's a couple of things that like there's parts that I feel like there's things I think I know, and there's things I'm pretty sure I know. There's things I'm not entirely sure about, and like it kind of gets hard to make sure I'm not working on assumptions. And so like I almost have the feeling that or I'm working on the assumption that when they're on the Reno planet where Kenobi saves Leia from the criminals, that basically that Kenobi may hand Leia off to Kamal's character, and then he takes her back to Bel Organa, and they're still chasing him at that point, and that's where the Inquisitors and Vader show up. But the thing about it is at this point, to the best of my knowledge, Obi-Wan Kenobi hasn't fought the Inquisitors yet. They've been on his trail. They've been in his vicinity, but they think they've sensed him, but they're not even sure if they're really sensing him, and they're not sure if it's really him. And
so they can't find him on Tatooine.
Yeah, so a part of me kind of thinks that the way it may go is on that world, on Reno, Space Reno. The Inquisitors may show up, they may have the skirmish, and then that's when Vader is contacting her, like, we found Kenobi, it's hitting the fan. And because I'm under the impression that the Inquisitors are the ones who hired the kidnapping of Leia, knowing that it will spring a trap for somebody who they're after, because they know Bell Organa has his hands in illegal things. They just can't prove it for the most part, and so they're basically breaking the Imperial law to get him to expose Bell Organa with something, and so it going that way ends up being how they're able to put Leia in there and then have her be saved. And I think if Kamal Nanjiani's character is the one, I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong, but is the one who turns her over, then it's never an issue that a Jedi saved her. If a Jedi overtly saved her, then they'd be like, Bell Organa is consorting with Jedi, and when his daughter was kidnapped, he hired a Jedi. That would still be illegal. That would still get you probably put to death during Palpatine's empire. So, so Obi-Wan, of course, does all of this in disguise and covertly. You know, it's a bit like, I kept trying to think of a good movie. Almost because I got Qui-Gon on my brain. I'm like, it's almost like Taken in a way. You know what I mean? The way that he goes in, but yeah. So
he's in disguise. Obi-Wan's in disguise.
He's in disguise. Yeah.
Is he wearing like glasses and a mustache?
He's wearing one of those huge RuPaul wigs. No, one of those like. Yeah.
Okay, now I want Pod Drag Race. I want that. I want that so bad now. Like I fucking want it so bad. There's the pod racing show. It's gonna be. It is part of a game show, so best of all the worlds on that one.
A really great callback, Rob, would be if he was wearing the Wookiee scalps. He just puts that on from Book of Boba.
Oh no!
Oh, Wookiee! I'm here to save you. A little short for a Wookiee, aren't you?
He just looks like Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places when he was in, that costume.
You know what?
Where's Organa Major?
What's that?
Organa Major.
Organa Major.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. That was
in scripts,
I think
Mark's. Yeah. I always wondered what that was.
Yeah, I think that was in the Star Wars, drafts or whatever, with the Bogdan and all that jazz. Mark Hamilton says the Grand Inquisitor will have known Kenobi from when he was a Jedi. You think Kenobi is ever face to face with them? Will there be recognition of each other? Yeah, I've wondered about that too. Because I definitely know that if they are, I can put them on the same sets as one another. For what it's worth, I could put the third sister Reva, the fifth brother, and the Grand Inquisitor all in the same places that Kenobi literally is. So I don't know if it's the kind of story where Kenobi's like, walks through this set and then 15 minutes later they're like, oh, I could smell Kenobi here. That stinky little Ewan McGregor smell is all over this place. I don't know if that's how it goes or whatever, but I can't put them like literally like in the same spots. And so I got a feeling that they are going to meet, but we also know that like the Grand Inquisitor, he's smart though. So does the Grand Inquisitor know I can't kill Kenobi? And is that why he calls Vader? And you know what I mean? Does he know, does he just know like he can't do it? And then you have these younger Inquisitors who don't know better, like Reva, who is throughout the series, and my impression is that she's proving herself a lot, like that she's very, very evil and is willing to do really messed up things. And so I got that. That's just kind of the vibe that I get, is that maybe they do, but I think he's smart enough to know better, or maybe he thinks he can do it with all three of them, and once they get dispatched, he just bells. I don't know, but Reva. I have a couple of hints, a couple of things that make me believe she either knew Obi-Wan Kenobi back when she was a Jedi, or at the very least she's known of him the entire time. And when they were making Revenge of the Sith, there was like a lot of stuff in the backstory back then that we haven't really seen today coming up very much in anything. But they were like pretty much they were treating Obi-Wan and Anakin as rock stars of the Clone Wars. The galaxy knew who they were. They were these legendary warriors. Everybody knew who those two guys were. And if that's the case, if that remains true in current lore, which was George Lucas lore, I believe, then Reva would know who Obi-Wan was the whole time anyways. But I have a feeling that all of the Inquisitors are people who Obi-Wan may know. And if they do take it that way, there's a chance that it could make it feel a little bit more personal. And when they do talk, when they do speak to one another, the dialogue could actually like reference things and give us some of that feeling of lived in history. And if they do it right. And we've always loved that in Star Wars, that implication. But modern Star Wars is so afraid of saying anything that might write them into a corner that they tend to shy away from. When I met you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. They don't really do that too much anymore. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see, how this all unfolds, because I mean, the Grand Inquisitor, if I have my shit straight, he was kind of a Jedi cop. He was one of those guys downstairs in those cool dojos with the yellow lightsabers. And then Palpatine exploited all of the Jedi who had these flaws. And I'm not sure about this part, but I think Reva may have a brother. And this is where it gets hard, because of shit like fifth brother. It makes it hard to know for certain. But there's a chance that Reva may have had a brother in the Jedi Order with her. And that may be, at the end of the day, how they were able to exploit her. Because basically everybody who was a Jedi is exploited by Palpatine into giving up all of their old Jedi ways and saying those guys sucked. Anakin Skywalker is the guy on the road. He's the guy who got it. That guy got it. And Palpatine helped turn them and helped in that program. And I'm sure the Grand Inquisitor was probably the first main one to turn, and then he probably went on and did the program for Palpatine after that. I think that's going to be the story, most likely. I was at a comic book store one time with Tony. Was it Tony? What's his name? Gilroy, and who wrote for Rebels and Clone Wars. He was the main writer on Clone Wars, and then Lucas took over, and he just kind of bounced because he was like, "What do I need to be here for?" And then once Rebels got started, Gilroy came back and became one of the main writers, and he said as much. He said that, not about this series, but he said that the Inquisitors were all people that Palpatine had identified personally throughout the Clone Wars. About, we need to go after this guy and that lady and all that, because these people, they all have these weaknesses that I can see. Right. So yeah, and there were some hints that Lucas was even maybe in on this concept or idea when you watch Clone Wars arcs like Children of the Force, where Palpatine is having Cad Bane kidnap children who are Force sensitive to bring them back to him for some kind of secret plan. I don't think we ever totally learned what that plan was, and the Jedi stop it and save the day. But I think that the implication was there. I had a lot of people back then telling me, "Oh, I bet you that's Mara Jade. I bet you that baby's Mara Jade, dude." No. not with George Lucas, I don't think. But
I bet it was Mara Jade, though.
I bet it was, though. you know it was Mara Jade, though, right? Yeah. So Mark Hamilton says, so some of these Inquisitors might still think they're on the right side of history. They believe the other Jedi staged a terrorist coup with Anakin Vader is somehow a noble survivor. That is what I have been told. Yeah. Is that they all have. I think there's that's sort of like the macro political kind of idea, and then there's always that micro personal problem, that personal thing that happened to them. Like in that Star Wars: The Old Republic video game trailer that we got last week with like the two sisters and one's going to the Jedi Order. I think there's always that little thing that the bad guys can exploit. That one weakness that they have, because if there's any kind of attachment or whatever. And so what I've been considering in my mind is, if Reva does have a brother and they're both in there together, and they both become Jedi. They both are taken into the Order, and they should discover that they're siblings because they're, then you do have something where it's like, oh, now there's something to exploit. There's an inherent weakness here because we've never actually dealt with that. They've always been like, oh, they've always done the Harry Potter thing where they take Harry Potter's mom, but not Harry Potter's aunt. Well, what happens when they're both make it into the Jedi school? How does your attachment work then? Ewan McGregor became a member. Thank you. Thank you, Ewan. He's like, oh, Jason, can you please stop spoiling my show? Thank you. But yeah, I mean, but no, the answer is no. And if you ever want to talk about Oasis, I'll talk about some Oasis with you, though. I will.
Is Rob still around, or where is he?
He's a ghost.
I haven't talked enough or made some stupid joke. Like it's as if I'm listening to Jason speak.
Rob will always be with you. Look at him.
Thank you. Rob, where's the Kenobi trailer? You said it's coming like any day now, like 5 months ago.
It's up your butt and around the corner. What?
Down the hall.
I didn't say it was coming. I said they could just as well. You gave me fan math. I went back and rewatched the episode. You gave me fan math, and I said they're just as likely to drop it randomly on a Tuesday. There's no plan with Lucasfilm. No. They don't do anything normally. And by the way, a lot of people figured this show would be coming out May 4th. Well, their fan math didn't work out for them. It's coming out May 25th. So that's why I'm like.
I told you it's coming in March, and you said I can drop anytime. So
now I feel like I'll tell you. Yeah, well, now I guess we're still 8 days away before you can braggadocious. So don't worry about it. I also think that now I feel like they should drop it the day it releases on. They should drop it May 25th at midnight. Or May 24th, right before the fucking drop the trailer and then drop this at the series at the same time, boom.
I'm hoping it's going to be early March. I'm still hoping.
I hope it's for my birthday.
Well, what day is your birthday, Max?
When's your birthday, Max?
March 5th. It's next Saturday.
March. All right, Max.
Nice.
Max, I'm gonna will it.
I'm gonna laugh when this shit doesn't come out till April, though. Then what? I mean, there's a whole fucking. There's like a month or so in between. After March it doesn't go March, May. There's April, so you'd be wrong too, Chris.
March,
careful.
March the 10th.
Okay,
it's coming out
March 10th.
That's all.
March 10th. March 10th is the expected day. March 10th.
Before first,
that's what. Yeah, this isn't like, I'm not saying like it's like a scoop thing for me or anything like that. That's what
I'm saying.
You're saying it is. You're saying it's March 10th.
Yeah. No,
he's been hanging out with
March and the 10th.
He's been hanging out with Mike Zero again.
Oh no. I'm hoping. I'm hoping for March 10th too. Ewan, number one, Ewan, seriously though, thank you for becoming a channel member and supporting the show. I really do appreciate it. Ewan asks, can you comment on a new magazine interview that's out today of Ian McDiarmid alluding to being in the Kenobi series? Yeah, so here's the thing about that, and I'm always going to be honest with you and tell you what I think I know. And in this instance, I'm fairly certain, because I know that there's a scene where Darth Vader does go and he does report back to the Empire. And he's like, but it's not real. So I don't know if it's going to be Palpatine who he is talking to in the thing. So to the best of my knowledge at this moment, if Ian McDiarmid is in it, he's most likely a hologram and probably on like the last episode.
But is it the bloated Ian McDiarmid from episode 3 or the one that actually looks like him?
Well, so if you're asking me if they took like a 70-year-old man and got him back down into the shape he was in when he was 30 years old.
He looks more pregnant than Padme in Revenge of the Sith, bro. There's something weird about the way he looks.
Yeah, and when you judge yourself from when you were like 29 and when you're in your 50s, yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
I'm 29 in like monster makeup. You know what I mean? Like I'm not talking about like it's something weird.
That was the actual issue though, is that he was very, very thin when he was, I believe he was very thin when he was Palpatine and Return of the Jedi. And so there's a lot of room to do whatever they wanted. And when he aged, it changed. And you try to put the stuff on.
I'm not Chris Hemsworth, Robert.
Yeah.
Not working out.
I don't know if somebody with Palpatine's like weird, makeup and stuff, I don't know if they could do this, but I would almost be happier with them deep faking Palpatine at this point. You know what I mean? I almost think
100%.
That would be,
and they could go back and fix that scene in Revenge of the in Empire Special Edition when he looks like it's the Empire one. I can't stand, man. Like he does not go from that to the Emperor in one movie. It's not a good look, man.
Yeah, I always wonder if George Lucas will ever, throw in another round of changes, if that will ever be possible, or something that they would allow him to like do, or if he just doesn't care anymore, or if
I'm gonna kill Bib Fortuna and at the beginning of Jedi, and that'll fuck all your shit up, won't it?
And that is my headcanon as well, Mark Hamilton. He looks weird as Sidious in Episode 3 because Mace fucked him up. And that was always my headcanon, was like, yeah, it just happened. But there's also things about him that I just don't.
It's freshly swollen.
Freshly
swollen.
Freshly electrified Sith, as they call it.
Yeah.
But there's
but in Empire Special Edition though, like he's not freshly swollen.
Yeah.
When they put him back in there and he looks like,
but it's also better than
it looks like they got the when they get that little mini figure, the little 3.5-inch figure, and you're like, I guess that's fucking Leia. Like, look at that face. It don't look right.
Yeah, it's because they filmed that during Revenge of the Sith. I mean, that's the real reason.
I know
why.
that.
And so what is the alternative? A lady with monkey eyes.
Yeah, I'd keep the
even less.
Yeah, I'd keep. Yeah,
no,
it looked better. It looked better. No, I'm not crazy. It looked way better.
It looked that looks less like.
Addy-Wan fixed that easily, dude. Addy-Wan fixed it. Like he's already fixed it, so it's great. Yeah. Good for him.
That is less.
It's not passive aggressive, Jason.
No, but that
good for you.
Good for you, you fucking asshole.
Oh, Lonnie, fucking go, Obi-Wan. Like, all right.
No, it definitely but I mean that version of Palpatine looks less like Palpatine Return of the Jedi than bloated Palpatine. Ugh. You know what I mean? PMS Palpatine looks more like him. So that's why I'm ultimately more okay with it. But yeah, but I mean it's just like
PMS Canada.
PM Sith. But I would love if they ever went back and like I said, did the deep fake stuff and made that like more consistent. If they ever did that, not Revenge of the Sith, I think you could leave it. But my ultimate problem with the whole thing is just stuff that like kind of doesn't make sense. That you can make your conclusions if you really want to overthink it, but it's like Palpatine is in front of Mace Windu. He shocks Mace Windu, who reflects it back, and then he gets shocked, and then it's revealed his true self, or that it looks like that. Is that his true self? You don't really know, but then you get Return of the Jedi, and Luke gets shocked with the same stuff, and it doesn't. He's fine. It looks adorable.
Oh, that was an opportunity for Lucas to do something cool. Like he's been hiding himself as he's really this monster, this grotesque old ass. How old is it? Would have been great. Like that would have been something that you could have played off eventually with Snoke, where Snoke looks like that. Whatever, they looks like a burn victim, but then he could end up looking like those. You know what? Those aliens that look like elves, Jason. You know what I'm talking about? Like that would have been a great Star Wars, a chance to put a little ufology in the sequels.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. I mean, but
he just didn't commit to it.
it's still like there's still like this like ambiguity about what that stuff means.
Like, how great would that have been if it was like, you remember the Wolfman scene, the classic Wolfman scene that like in cinema history, right? Mm-hmm. Since Lucas likes to like, right, where he transforms into Wolfman. It would have been great when those Jedi come in to like Mace Windu and them to fucking pick a fight, and then he just slowly like, oh, do you know? And then he reveals his true self to them, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like he turns into it, you know, like this whole time, you know, he doesn't have to hide anymore. I'm glad to know that this is out in the open now, so I can murder you fucking face to face, you know, like oh shit, he's a zombie.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of like why when episode 9, when we got to the Rise of Skywalker, and he says things like, you know, like I'm every Sith that you've ever heard in your head and all that stuff. That's where I started to think, oh, like maybe this guy was this Palpatine guy, and then maybe all of these things did come into him, and that was how it was exposed. And so if that ends up being like the big answer to it, I'm happy with that explanation. But once again, very much implied. That's a question that comes to people have it all the time. So that's how you know it was kind of like a problem. Like you never want to say too much when you don't need to and answer things that nobody gives a shit about. But it's still one of those things where you're just like, this is kind of confusing. Like I don't, you know what I mean? I love this stuff. I love Palpatine. Palpatine's like I actually probably like Palpatine more than Darth Vader in a way. Like I think he's a little bit more interesting than Darth Vader, who's just kind of this dumb jock who got manipulated at the end of the day, you know. It's real Chad who just was a fucking asshole. But
Vader's like an asshole version of Jesse Plemons. You know? Like
yeah.
And Sidious is more like I don't know if I can.
Jesse Plemons is what I expected Anakin to be when I was a kid. More than Hayden Christensen, actually. Him to be more because
nobody expected Hayden Christensen.
No,
like, I saw Life as a House. I saw Life as a House, and I liked it, and I didn't expect that performance. I was like, what is this shit? Dude, I took my conservative uncle to Life as a House, and he's like, this is actually a really good movie. I'm like,
it's a great movie.
You can fucking broaden your fucking horizons, buddy. You know? And then, you know, Attack of the Clones comes out, and he's like, what the fuck happened? I'm like, I don't know, Lucas, Rick McCallum, all the above. You know? Australia. We could blame Australia. You know, what's shot down there? You know, we can't do that.
Thank you, Junk Fox, for becoming a member. I appreciate the support. I really, really, truly do. And thanks to everyone who's become a channel member and who is a
now. I think
member.
The reason why Chris says he loves the prequels is because he's getting a tax incentive from Fox Studios. You know, like I don't think it's genuine.
You got me, Rob.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah, I am hoping that they do stuff with Palpatine in the future. You know, like I always loved like those parts in Harry. I mentioned Harry Potter a lot today, but there's just so much of that same kind of backstory that you get in the Harry Potter story that comes to mind. But like, you know, when Harry Potter delves into like Dumbledore and Voldemort's like background and stuff, like that's some, if you following those books or those films, it's some of the more intriguing stuff. And it would be such a rad opportunity to have the young Palpatine story, even if he ultimately isn't redeemable, but just to like see how he got there. And they were going to do that in the Star Wars Underworld TV show, not the shitty website, the actual good TV show that they were going to make. And in it, but Palpatine was supposedly meets essentially the Sith Lord that is like this like lady or whatever, and she really turns him to the bad side. And the way that it was reported, people got like all like, you know, oh no, so it's a woman's fault. That's like right where they went with it.
Yes.
But yes, and her name was Marshishis.
Yeah, she instituted martial law, which is the law of the Sith.
Oh man, that would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna have to pay her either way, but at least I feel better about it.
Yeah, I'm still wondering if that rumor was ever true, that she had that she got a money of the cut of A New Hope from when they were divorced, and after and then when they changed to the special edition, that contractually pushed her out. But I also kind of feel like maybe if that was the case, she may be talking about that now, saying that Disney should give her what she has deserved, and she hasn't. But if that did happen, she totally should, because now is the time to push that, I think. But
JJ, Kathy, she's got ideas. Caller.
Yeah. But also when everybody wants to, I guess I shouldn't say that. I'm a little bit like, on one hand, Marshall Lucas is the reason that we don't get the prequels until George Lucas is much past his prime and not making movies anymore. You know what I mean? And she was in so many ways never like at the end of the day like a huge friend to Star Wars as a continuing entity. But on the other hand, maybe it sucks to be George Lucas's wife or girlfriend, and maybe he's super boring and it's not her fault. You know what I mean? So who knows, right? But becoming Sheev has to be a young Palps Disney Plus series. There is nothing. I want more. Yes. And thank you, Young Boomer, for becoming a channel member. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And never mind Obi-Wan Kenobi. Where is Barriss Ophi? Yeah. I know. I haven't heard anything concrete about Barriss Ophi for Obi-Wan Kenobi. The rumor is that she's in the other one in Star Wars Ahsoka, and I think that's better though because Barriss Ophi plays a role in the framing of Ahsoka and why Ahsoka is not even a Jedi. Why she leaves the Order? How Tarkin is able to exploit that? Yeah. You know what I mean? I could definitely see why they saved Barriss for that show if that rumor is accurate. And Barriss, the question becomes though, in the Ahsoka series, do we have Barriss and Ahsoka having to contend with one another as contemporaries after Return of the Jedi? And like, I did this bad thing to you, or you did this bad thing to me, and like, how dare you show your face around here kind of story or kind of plot point? Or do we simply get Barriss Ophi in a retelling of why Ahsoka ultimately leaves the Jedi Order? Because we do have Hayden Christensen in the Ahsoka series, and the general assumption is it's after Return of the Jedi, therefore it's Ahsoka talking to a Force ghost. Maybe even with Luke Skywalker after Grogu leaves or during that time. But what if they do a 10-minute version of Ahsoka's story throughout the Clone Wars and how she was this warrior who fought and was framed by Tarkin and Barriss Ophi, and because Barriss Ophi knew. What if they tell like this little backstory, and then we get on to her as the sort of more Ronin Jedi that she kind of has become. Both of those narrative conceits are possible in that series, and I gotta say, guys, I didn't watch Star Wars Rebels for years. The Disney XD flavor of it left a bad taste in my mouth. Friends who were fans who just cannot say anything critical about Star Wars at all were like, this is all fantastic. And I'm like, a lot of this is unacceptable, but really good stories. I was able to watch it the other day the day I released my video where I was like, I'm setting the record straight finally. I'm just burnt out, but for whatever reason, I still had Star Wars. I still like Star Wars enough that I wanted to watch something Star Wars. And for whatever reason, I put that one on, and it was really easy to watch because I just had forgotten a lot of it. It was easy to watch. I watched the first 9 episodes, and boy, is it some of the best Star Wars telling of all time. Just
I
not
like
the
that
best
show a lot,
but to me, not the best execution of said stories. So I
mean,
leave at the
animation
end,
or what?
The execution of the stories, meaning like Ezra Bridger monologuing everything that he does.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
oh boy, and they think they're having a hard day. That just general Disney XD kind of bullshit. But then when you get down to like the concepts of the Inquisitors and the ISB, like the Imperial CIA existing, and the idea of Callus, and the idea, like all of the ideas in the storytelling and of the world building is stellar. All of the ideas of the main cast that they use in there are all very good and well done. The problem comes in when in that last 5 minutes, we're all a family, and you're just like, don't tell me, show me.
Like the end of Boba Fett.
It's exactly like that. Yeah, it's exactly like that. Yeah, and it's
yeah,
because it is kind of weird.
Share?
What?
You don't want to share, Chris Anton?
But we
you
end up. No, I missed what you.
No, the very end of Boba Fett.
The fruit when he's eating the fruit.
Yeah.
When he's like have a seat because the best episode when the guy
they run and
yeah. So you're making are you making like he's the guy with the pizza?
Yes.
Okay, I love that guy. What a fucking weirdo. He's like, I'm just gonna eat this pizza. Anyways, and what Mark Hamilton is saying is my point, and I've heard Star Wars essentially I think make this point too, and that's if you can see past the animation, some of the kiddiness to it, Rebels is great, and it's true, and it is like it continually has things in it like and concepts that I love, like the idea of like Imperial Day, and you hear the Imperial March and a major key, and people are like, there's a lot of really solid stuff in there, and the use of Palpatine in it is actually good. It does run into some tired points where it does get a bit guest star of the week and stuff like that, but conceptually and the contribution is huge, and that's why I'm ultimately excited for Star Wars Ahsoka, because that shit won't fly in live action. I hope they know that. And I think it's going to allow them to just sit there and bring all of these things out to the forefront, all of these good ideas and these characters, and we'll have them in a cinematic quality, which is what they should have done from the very start with Star Wars Rebels. David, thank you for becoming a channel member. I totally am floored and excited that you guys love the show enough to support it. Thank you. I really
we need a sound effect one day, like a.
That's why we got you here. Right, you have a channel member. You have to do it. You have to do it because we don't want to get like dinged or whatever, and so you have to do it every single time. Yeah,
I'll do it in different voices, like Filoni.
Can you do it, Rob? Can you do Star Wars Santa? Can you do Star Wars Santa?
It feels too good to do it. It feels wrong. I can't do it. It's too fun. As I start laughing and the ho-ho-hos, I don't. It's so funny.
One of my favorite moments from Star Wars is when Maul and Dooku are like realizing that one another exists, or that Maul is like, and they're calling it, like, I think he calls him a Sith pretender and stuff like that. Like, I loved all of that stuff, but this Vader versus Maul concept, it still could happen. And that's, I know what you mean though. It could have happened in Rebels, and Rebels. I think the big sin of Rebels is that they killed Maul in it. And there's times when I'm like, I'm glad something big happened in Rebels because it makes the show kind of worthwhile. On the other hand, though, we could have had Ray Park as Darth Maul being killed by Ewan McGregor in this series right now instead of one of the Inquisitors or something. And
they still could because a lot of people don't know that how Maul died, so they could, right?
I mean, they could always go.
All they have to do is go back to that episode and have Obi-Wan wake up and a space lizard crawl out his nose. And it's like, fucking weird dream, man. Like, even in live action, he can wake up from the dream, and the space lizard's like, yeah.
Or they could. I mean, I don't believe they're doing it in this show. For the record, I don't believe that they are. But they could also, once again, say that stuff happened. Yeah, that did happen. But in this, basically in the edit of this, you don't see Ezra, because you could be careful around it and still make the Rebels fans we didn't erase what you have. But also in this version of the story, it's not applicable. And the fact that Ezra walks by in the desert, every person who walks by the desert and says hi to Kenobi doesn't end up in the edit, kind of concept. They could do that, but I don't think they will, though. I don't think they will. But yeah, it is a big missed opportunity, and I ultimately think that they should work and develop more of the idea about why Palpatine allows Maul to live. There's still big holes in the story that just don't really make sense. And then all of a sudden, he's in Crimson Dawn, And then we get to him, and he's not a Crimson Dawn anymore. He's just this old drifter who's like creeping around Ezra Bridger, going, trying to convert him to the dark side. And one of the cooler things that I think that they did do with Maul, though, is that they had Maul have a vision of Luke Skywalker, and he realizes, oh, if I get this kid, I can be the Sith Lord again. Me and this kid could rule the whole thing, and that's a really fun concept, a really fun idea that makes Maul's motivations make a lot of sense. There's a big pie to be won right there if he should grab that, But and then also why Obi-Wan Kenobi has to kill him. God, and what's his name? Steven Stanton, who does Obi-Wan Kenobi in Rebels, is the best Alec Guinness of all time. Like if they ever deep fake Alec Guinness with Steve Stanton playing the part, it would be like, oh my God. I don't know if they should. I think we got Ewan McGregor and he's alive, and I don't think Alec Guinness would like it, so I don't think that they should. But if they did it,
boy, Guinness didn't like Star Wars. What does his fucking opinion count?
Well, it is his likeness. I mean, that's where my take is. You know what I mean? Like if if he wouldn't have allowed them to, then they shouldn't. Whereas somebody like Carrie Fisher,
he just looks like old Jesus. He didn't invent that look. What? He does.
But
Santa looks kind of like old Jesus.
Santa says,
I've been watching a lot. Go ahead.
You're still here, and I came back to hear Rob impersonating me. Laugh out loud.
Is it the funniest thing you've ever heard, Santa? Because Chris is he dispute you on it.
I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mark Hamilton says, my one big hope for the Mandoverse, in particular, Ahsoka series, is that the Ghost gets to be a focal point of the core cast of heroes. It was the home in Rebels, like the Falcon was in the OT. Yeah, I have seen concept art, bud, and I believe the Ghost is coming back. I'm pretty sure that they're all coming back. I can't confirm Zeb, and obviously Kanan is dead by this point, but I believe the main people from that series are all going to be back. So I think you're going to be happy. You're going to be a happy little Hamilton. Happy Hamilton, as they call him around here.
I want Happy Hamilton to fight Revenge Guy. And then I want, is it Happy Boomer or is it Modern Boomer? What's his name? We got a Boomer in there.
The young Boomer.
Young Boomer. Yeah, and then Young Boomer comes in and, it's like Royal Rumble for MakingStarWars.net. Every minute, a new person with a clever name shows up.
Young Boomer, he owns several properties, so your rent is high. Star Wars Santa says, be honest at Mark Hamilton. You just want the HasLabs Ghost project from Hasbro. That makes a ton of sense to me. And if it ends up in this series in live action, they'll have live action reference materials to build off of. But that would be.
It just dawned on me.
Mm-hmm.
Just dawned on me that they're bringing up HasLab. And isn't it weird how that Rancor showed up and hit with a dud, and then the Rancor shows up in Book of Boba Fett and doesn't hit with the thunderous applause like they all assume? Like maybe they're overselling the nostalgia for that stuff a little bit with Star Wars fans.
Yeah, I think they if you're gonna hit on the big things that people have always wanted, they didn't step very far from the last big thing they always wanted with the skiff. They went right to the thing next door to it. Like they should have went if they had gone to the Ghost, for instance, that would have been a really good one. Or had they went with something from The Empire Strikes Back, had they went with something from I don't know what they should do, but it would have been a lot cooler seeing a Cloud City playset, wouldn't it, than a Rancor. You know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of just amazing things that could still happen at that size that people would flip out over.
Yeah, something no one's ever got a chance to own before. It's kind of the whole point of this. There's plenty of Rancors out there, man. We've gotten it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Rancor that they have put out there, they've put out, they're obviously not to scale, but they are pretty good. I personally am happy with the smaller Rancor that it does the job for me. So
Now imagine if that Rancor had been actually a Book of Boba Fett promo tie-in with, even before the series came out, with Boba Fett riding it and shit, and a battle droid, and like I get you're selling the end of the series, but you'd also be hyping the shit out of it in a way that I still believe half of those leaks from Spider-Man were intentional leaks. I don't think they were. I think they were marketing some of those leaks, man. I really do.
Yeah.
This morning I was actually looking at
know.
Book of Boba Fett merchandise to see if anything was out, and they have a lot of T-shirts like with him riding the Rancor and like all the stuff that probably would have helped sell the show if they had released it sooner. But
yeah, that was my take too, Max. Is I was like, why are they trying to get Rancor hype before a show's about to hype a Rancor? Like doing it after that may have been a better way to go about it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like after you see, but at the same time, I guess it's a different Rancor that looks different and stuff. But Justin says, but having a live action character dream in animation is hilarious, and I want to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a space lizard. You could dream in animation and shit. It's great.
It's like, whoa, I dreamt we were like a Disney XD cartoon, man. It was wild. If they give us a Ghost and Blurgs, I'll drive to Ohio so we can play Star Wars Men. That sounds all sort of wrong. Yeah, we didn't used to call them that. We used to call them, I want to, Mom, can we go to Target or Gemco so I can get a Star Wars Man? And the guy Henry Tarkin voice I thought was incredible in Rogue One. Yeah, he did a really good job too. And in fact, I would say I hope that they deep fake that performance or touch it up. I would be very happy if they did. I think it gets by. It's fine. People who don't follow Star Wars mostly didn't know it was fake. They thought it was a weird looking guy, but it could be better, and it's obvious.
Now I want a cover of Particle Man with Star Wars Man, right? Star Wars Man does everything a Mandalorian can. Star Wars Man. yeah, I like it.
Yeah, but I mean, if they did do a HasLabs Ghost and dropped all of the figures or whatever from the series and stuff like that, that would be huge. Right now, that would actually move. And yeah, that's the kind of stuff that they need to be thinking about. But
yeah, they could probably break 3 million doing that. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he says. I think it's David. Yeah, David says the controversy with the HasLabs Rancor not getting funded was the fact there was no Ula and Malakili figures included allegedly. I know that was just such a weird oversight in my opinion. I could see where they were coming from not including them, but why not? I mean, they've made those figures before. It's not hard.
They just make one of these little figures. Now I'm going to be called a misogynist for this, but fuck you. I just want the boobs to be squishy.
Okay.
Right? Like just one time. As a kid, can a Japanese retail figure, they do it in Japan, can they do it? Just want that so bad. Like
Rob, I just hope your dream comes true someday for you.
They have blow up dolls. With squishy ones.
No, Max. You can't put a blow up doll in an action figure set, right? I want to be able to put the little thing on my Razor Crest. Pop it on the little speeder bike and plop her over and watch the boobs jiggle when she flies off. I could see the Kenner style commercial. Oh my God, real action. They slow down.
Oh my gosh.
Boobs. Remember Jello jigglers? Just like that, right?
So David says he agrees with Rob. A Boba riding a Rancor Titan for HasLabs was the move, and to have announced it with the show, because they were already making shirts and stuff. That's why it got out. Like the shirts that you could buy right now, that art was already floating around. That's why it leaked out. So it's such a weird. That's so weird.
They didn't get everything early. No, those T-shirt companies didn't get everything early, because I know for a fact they didn't get shit for like the Luke stuff until after the episode came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
the Rancor failed because the stretch goals were all repacks on Hasbro's part. not the dream items from that HasLab was supposed to be. We wanted Ula and Malakili as stretch goals, and they offered repacks. Okay.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Max, that's what we should do when people become members. Just play that.
Oh, yeah.
He's all hashtag no Ula, no Mula. Was the hashtag that HasLab Rancor.
You gotta understand, mulas is my favorite term for money. Like, I just love it. I love mulas. So like, no ulas, no mulas is the best hashtag I've ever heard. Yeah.
Fair enough, guy. I mean, I have no dog in this fight. I wasn't gonna buy it. When I have a couple $100 to blow on something, it's definitely gonna probably go to something like an Xbox or something,
Or up your nose.
Or my, just a big old box of cocaine, like a big thing of flour, but it's cocaine. And I've never actually done cocaine.
I'm so jealous right now. I'm so jealous.
Oh yeah, I'm so
really
jealous. Like,
dense box of cocaine.
People
really
think I'm like so cool when I mention LA and how we all do cocaine in LA. People think I'm cool when I do that on Twitter. Sorry. People are like that. It's just a thing. But anyways, we've already gone over 2 hours. We're maniacs here. And so thank you everyone for reading the article on MakingStarWars.net today, for hanging out with us, to all of the channel members. And it just occurred to me right now that some people prefer to support on Patreon. So if you want to move over here and to cancel the Patreon and come over here because that's better for you, that's cool. Or maybe I could start where if you send me a message on Patreon, that's a question for the show, just write question for the show. I'll add it to a document, and during the show, we will hit on the Patreon questions from the show. That is the other way that we can do this. So just send me.
Why Rob? ? Why?
Yeah. I'm gonna. Okay, fine. You know what? It's been over 6 months. I'm going to address it. He's a ghost and he's haunting me. I can't get rid of him. I played around with the Ouija board one day, and now he's always here. And I just put him to work.
He didn't realize it was a typo. It said whitey board. He's just stuck with the most whitest dude. The most of the whitest guy you can imagine. Like,
I'll be honest with you guys. I saw Q-U-I-J-A, and I thought it was Qui-Gon Jinn. I thought it was a Star Wars game.
Oh.
I opened it up, and I started playing with it. And then I got the ghost of Rob. And now
Qui-Gon Ouija.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Qui-Gon Ouija joke to be made somewhere out there. I can feel it. Like it's going to take some work.
Showbiz Sherbert is such a waste of money when you can buy action figures, not open them, and then store them in a larger boxes in a storage unit. Yeah, that was ultimately where I became somebody very early on who just opened everything up, and then I was just like, oh, and then I started opening.
Well, that's my whole thing. Is I didn't get this to resell it. I'm not that dude. I'm just not. I can't convince my wife of that. It's just. I don't know what it is. Like it arrived, and I'm like, man, if it's $5,000 though, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
but it's not at $5,000. It's like maybe you could sell it for 6 or 7 at this point.
Yeah,
so
but if it ends up being a couple of grand, and you could take your wife to Hawaii after the pandemic or something like that, I definitely get where you're coming from on that.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be hard. She's looking at me, like, it's tough.
Yeah, that's why after the pandemic, I'm going to take my kids to Europe and not to the Mickey Mouse Star Wars cruise thing, because that's crazy.
Didn't you hear Kylo Ren and Rey Skywalker had a moment on the Galactic Star Cruiser? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? That's canon now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
And Leia and Han Solo went on their honeymoon there, so Kylo Ren was conceived on it. All evil things were conceived on it.
They did sex on there?
In the butt too. Yeah, and Leia actually pegs Han Solo there. There's a really hot moment where,
oh my god,
there's a really hot pegging scene if you're into that. So it happens. I'm pretty sure it happens on that Disney cruise. So
is that's a selling point?
For me, it was. Yeah, I'm all in. I've always wanted to be pegged like Han Solo. I always wanted to be pegged.
We called the Wookiee Cuckbaka. Like.
So, yeah, it's a thing. But no, if anybody goes there and has a good time, by all means. But thank you everybody for hanging out with us today.
Can I just say one thing, Jason?
Yes, you can. You always can, bud.
If you guys enjoyed the video and the discussion that we had today, please give it a like. It really supports the channel. So please like the video.
Yeah, like the video, guys. Please. Yeah. And if you're watching this on the replay, especially like it then. Because
like it and comment.
Yeah. Leave me some comments like hey, beautiful, why don't you smile more? And I'll answer you.
Shit.
You know what I mean? If you want to leave whatever kind of comments you want to leave, just go ahead. Yeah, and but we'll be back. We will be back tomorrow, talking about Star Wars and the day's news and all that stuff. And thank you, Max, for coming and hanging out with me.
Sure.
This time,
Thanks, Max.
This time I didn't make Max watch a bunch of bizarre true crime stuff like we did the other night. We were taking you down a true crime rabbit hole, and
and I kept thinking about that afterwards. In my state, I was like, God, this is so weird.
What are we watching? Thanks to both you two dudes for coming and hanging out with me as always, and all three of you are always welcome to hang out. I mean, of course, Rob, I can't get rid of him. He's literally possessing the show now. From the
we're like a dyad,
it's like this is like real life Star Wars creepypasta. It's strange. But anyways,
I love how kids think their Nintendo 64 cartridges are haunted. I fucking love it.
They probably are.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm probably gonna haunt a gyromite.
I'm haunted with the fact that I spent $90 on Shadows of the Empire. I'm never gonna let it go. All right, that's fucking what I'm haunted by.
Yeah, you're a sucker.
I'm a sucker.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
It's not about spaceships. It's not about spaceships.